People vary widely. Some show clean alpha rises, others barely budge. It's a nudge, not a takeover. Where claims fail is where they always failed. Non-local information. Decades after SRI, tight, pre-registered, double-blind tests still don't deliver operationally useful remote viewing. Meta-analyses find small effects that often shrink under stricter controls. Intelligence reviews concluded you can't bet lives on it. Labs today don't spend much time there. They invest in illusions and interoception they can induce on demand and measure. Still, there are bright spots Gateway would recognize. Guided relaxation plus subtle audio reduces preoperative anxiety in clinics. Pain adjuncts built on rhythm and suggestion help some patients tolerate procedures. Athletes and musicians use breathing-paced metronomes to enter repeatable focus. Therapists lean on reconsolidation windows, calm, recall, and reframe to loosen fear. In all of these, the levers are the same: expectation, rhythm, breath, and attention. There's also social science for the group piece. Put speakers and listeners in scanners. Comprehension rises with neural coupling. Choirs show heartbeats drifting into sync. Teams that share pre-briefs and language perform better under stress. None of this is mystical. It's predictive brains using shared timing and models to reduce uncertainty together. Gateway's group sessions were a version of that. Synchronized breath, a single voice, common labels, and a promise of safety. The outputs line up because the inputs do. Safety protocols have matured. Labs screen for dissociation, seizure risk, migraine sensitivity. They include exit ramps, open eyes, stand, name objects, breathe faster to reweight exteroception. Studies pre-register endpoints, specify primary outcomes, and publish nulls to counter the file drawer problem that haunted Psi research. That's how you keep the tool from outrunning the evidence. So what survives? This, you can train state. You can lower anxiety with rhythm and breath, sharpen readiness with rehearsal, and under controlled conditions move where you feel you are. You can't pull blueprints from across the world by will. An EEG won't show hemispheres locking into a special laser mode. The truth is less cinematic and more empowering. Gateway guessed some mechanisms early: attention, expectation, vestibular trickery, mild auditory scaffolds, and wrapped them in a story big enough to recruit effort. Back in that declassified room, the subject wasn't touching the cosmos. They were mastering a set of dials their brain already owned. Modern labs keep those dials, strip the legend, and measure the move. The experience remains strange. The mechanism no longer is. Risks, ethics, and misuse. If you loosen the self model, plan your re-anchoring. Start with dissociation risk. If you've had depersonalization, derealization, or spontaneous OBEs, skip deep protocols. Use short sessions, dim light, not dark, and hard exits. Open eyes, stand, press your feet into the floor, name 5 visible objects and 3 textures you can touch. If the world feels thin, stop. No heroics. Protect sleep. Avoid late-night state chasing. Low-frequency audio and inward focus near bedtime can help some, but imagery-heavy sessions push insomnia in sensitive people. Do deeper practice in morning or early afternoon. If you keep a pre-sleep routine, make it 5 to 10 minutes, low volume, steady breath, then off. If sleep latency rises or awakenings increase, change timing, not just the track. Manage group suggestibility. State upfront. We're using breath, rhythm, and imagery to shape attention. Experiences vary. Describe, don't interpret. No loaded promises. Don't prime targets before remote viewing blocks. Include solo sessions to reduce conformity. Never imply danger or failure if someone doesn't achieve a state. Medical exclusions are hard lines. If you have epilepsy, syncopal episodes, or photosensitive migraines, avoid brainwave audio and any flicker. With vestibular disorders, avoid visual motion and keep sessions brief. Visual-vestibular tricks can trigger nausea and dizziness. Cardiac conditions need care. Slow breathing is fine, but avoid long breath holds and strong Valsalva-like humming. Keep exhales long but easy. If dizziness or chest tightness appears, stop and re-anchor. Hold the ethics line. Altered attention raises compliance. No post-hypnotic suggestions that benefit the instructor. Don't assign meanings to someone's spontaneous imagery. If trauma content surfaces, exit the protocol and refer to a qualified clinician. Integration is a structured debrief with consent and boundaries, not a public comment thread. Run experiments like experiments. Predefine outcomes. Primary endpoint. State anxiety rating immediately post-session. Lock analysis windows. If you miss them, report it. Pre-register to kill the file drawer habit. Use active controls, pink noise, steady tones, or music with identical scripts to separate audio from suggestion. Blind where possible, use open label when blinding fails, and treat expectancy as part of the mechanism. Respect data and consent. Don't record altered state sessions without explicit permission. Don't publish transcripts or biometrics without anonymization and consent. In groups, set policies. No sharing others' experiences, no diagnosing, no pressure to perform. Build an exit line into every script. If you feel detached, open your eyes, move, say your name out loud. Protect minors. Skip altered state work outside clinical settings. Teach breath, body scans, and movement. If a parent insists on audio, keep it low volume, brief, and framed without metaphysics. The goal is self-regulation, not anomaly hunting. Consent needs context. Tell participants the mechanisms. Binaural beats likely nudge arousal via brainstem timing. Alpha/theta can rise with relaxed focus. OBEs fit TPJ and visual vestibular mismatch. Remote viewing hasn't met operational thresholds. The tool is state training, not magic. Informed users are safer users. Principle, precision, over spectacle. Ground before you lift. Measure before you claim. When uncertain, choose the protocol that leaves tomorrow's nervous system steadier than today's. What the CIA finally wrote versus what we can say now. When McDonald turned in his 1983 assessment, he didn't declare a doorway to other worlds. He wrote like an officer who knew every sentence might end up in a review panel. The core conclusion was cautious. The gateway process might help certain individuals achieve useful altered states, but outcomes depend on training, motivation, and large individual differences. He stressed practice over promise and flagged risks, fatigue, overinterpretation, physiological strain. In plain terms, potential utility with many caveats. Then came the appendix, and that notorious page 25. There, the tone loosened. Drawing on Bentov and holographic metaphors popular in that era, McDonald outlined a picture of reality as an interference pattern and consciousness as something that could, in principle, move beyond space-time. It read like a metaphysical coda stapled to an analytic brief. That mismatch is the split people still argue over. Inside the body of the report, you get procedure, plausible mechanisms, and warnings. In the appendix, you get a leap. It's not deception, it's two registers living uncomfortably in one document. The intelligence community didn't judge Gateway in isolation. Across the river, Stargate's remote viewing portfolio was being prodded by outside evaluators. The American Institutes for Research Review noted that while some laboratory tasks reached statistical significance, the effect sizes were small and the protocols vulnerable to leakage and bias. More importantly, they found no consistent operational value, no reliable way to turn a transcript into a decision you'd bet lives on. Programs were shuttered, not because nothing ever looked odd, but because odd didn't turn into dependable. That's the bar intelligence work sets. What still resonates in McDonald's cautious lane looks surprisingly modern. He emphasized training attention, lowering arousal, and structuring expectation, exactly the levers we now use to steer perception in labs. His laser-like coherence metaphor overshoots. But the underlying point, that stable internal rhythms can support focused internal work, tracks with mild alpha/theta increases during relaxed attention. His interest in heartbeat and breath resonance, borrowed from Bentov, lands close to today's vagal tone and respiratory sinus arrhythmia work. He pointed at vestibular phenomena without those words. Modern TPJ research fills in the anatomy. Where the report overreaches is where the data still can't follow. Non-local information, remote viewing as an operational tool, never cleared the methodological minefield. Meta-analyses report small effects that shrink under tighter designs. The holographic universe framing is speculative and not testable within the training protocol. Even the idea of a special hemispheric sync mode isn't supported by EEG or MEG as a unique tape-induced trait. Brains coordinate constantly. They don't click into a singular superior gear because you listen to a tone. So what can we say now without hedges that collapse under measurement? That gateway anticipated a set of mechanisms science later specified. Attention can be trained, arousal can be tuned, expectations steer perception, interoceptive and vestibular signals help anchor a self-model that can be loosened under the right conditions. Binaural beats likely nudge subcortical timing, and with breath and context help some people downshift. Group ritual and language entrain priors. Shared timing reduces uncertainty. These are not small points. They're the backbone of how a nervous system constructs what it feels like to be here. What didn't survive is a failure, but it's a useful one. The boundary between felt truth and verifiable claim is exactly where predictive brains get into trouble. Gateway structure: describe, don't interpret. Blind targets, minimize cueing, was an attempt to guard that line. It wasn't enough to rescue Psi from the pull of pattern completion and expectation. The lesson isn't nothing happened. It's what happened belongs to the domain we can now map: state training, multisensory arbitration, and social coupling. There's a kind of irony in the legend. The page that made Gateway go viral ended up obscuring the part that actually endures. The lasting story isn't cosmic access, it's cognitive access. A classified program built in a fog of Cold War rumor stumbled onto techniques that show how malleable perception is and how training, not belief alone, can move the dials. That's the through line from Monroe's tapes to today's VR labs and clinic rooms. Use rhythm, breath, and framing to shape precision. Then watch the world and the self reassemble. Which is why the declassified verdict, read with 2020's eyes, is more satisfying than the myth. Reality, as you feel it, is a construction you can influence. Reliably in some ways, dangerously in others. McDonald couldn't run fMRI. He could still see the edge. We've got better tools now, and the same choice he faced: chase spectacle or train the system we live inside. That's the distinction. Cosmic access makes promises. Personal cognitive reality access delivers skills. You can test safely. Let's bring this home to something you can try without a clearance badge. Start with the lever that moves everything else: breath. Set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes. Inhale through the nose for 4, exhale for 6. Keep it light, no breath holds. Count a few rounds out loud to lock the cadence, then let the counting fade. This nudges vagal tone up, drops arousal, and makes internal signals steadier. You're building the same stable platform Gateway chased, minus the drama. Layer progressive relaxation onto that. Scan from forehead to toes. On each exhale, release one small muscle group: eyelids, jaw, shoulders, hands, belly, hips, thighs, calves, feet. The goal isn't limp, it's predictable. When your body signals stop jumping, your brain stops burning energy chasing noise. If your mind wanders, good. Notice it, tag it, thought, and return to the scan. You're training the describe, don't interpret muscle you'll need for everything else. Now add a gentle audio scaffold. Headphones on, volume low enough that you can forget it. Pick alpha or theta beats, 8 to 12 hertz for calm focus, 4 to 7 hertz for drowsy creativity. 10 to 20 minutes is plenty. If you feel wired, the volume's too high, or the beat's too fast. If you feel foggy, shorten the session. Keep a note on your phone: date, track, duration, mood before and after, one line about sleep later. You're building data, not vibes. In predictive processing terms, you're supplying a stable rhythm that the system can lean on while it downweights exteroceptive error. Think a gentle nudge from brainstem timing hubs, like the inferior colliculus upward, not a cortex takeover. That's a controlled hallucination tuned on purpose. Try a self-model nudge with safe anchors. Sit 2 meters from a mirror and breathe on that 4-6 rhythm. Let your gaze settle just below your eyes, soft focus. After a minute, raise your right hand slowly while watching the mirror. If you feel a tiny lag between what moves and who moves, that's the model flexing. Re-anchor, wiggle your toes, say your name, look around the room, and label 5 objects. The point is to feel the shift and the control, not to chase distance. For a light VR/AR illusion, use a phone camera on a tripod behind you, stream to a headset or tablet. Tap your chest with your left hand while tapping the screen view on the same beat with your right. 90 seconds is enough. Many people feel a subtle displacement. Exit by standing, naming 3 sounds, pressing feet into the floor. If you feel woozy or uneasy, stop. Your brain learned the trick. That's the win. Patterning gets real when you make it specific. Write 1 implementation intention you can test this week. When my heart jumps before I speak, I'll drop to 6-second exhales and loosen my jaw. During your breath practice, rehearse the trigger and the response 3 times in crisp, sensory detail. Hear your name, feel the spike, do the breath, then place it. Picture walking into the room tomorrow and catching the cue fast. Afterward, log whether the cue fired and what you did. Update the script. No metaphysics, just prediction, rehearsal, and measurement. Use social sync on purpose. If you're prepping with a teammate, breathe together for 1 minute at that 4-6 pace. Agree on 3 labels you'll use under stress: anchor, scan, reset, and what each means. That shared language will cut noise later. You'll feel corny the first time. You won't when your bodies line up and the task stops kicking. Curiosity experiments beat ideology. Pick 1 question for a 2-week block. Does 10 minutes of alpha audio at lunch make afternoons smoother? Define smoother up front, maybe fewer tab switches, steadier mood at 3 p.m. Alternate days, audio on even days, silence on odd. Keep everything else similar. At the end, look at your notes before you decide. If there's no effect, that's useful. You won't waste attention points on a ritual that doesn't pay you back. Mind the red lines. Skip audio entrainment if you've ever had a seizure, syncopal episode, or photosensitive migraine. Keep sessions short if vestibular tricks make you nauseous. If you have a history of depersonalization or panic, avoid body displacement illusions and stick to breath and muscle scans. If you feel detached at any point, eyes open, stand up, move, speak your name. If sleep gets worse, move practice earlier or switch to non-audio routines. Keep authority honest, especially if the authority is your own excitement. Label your expectations before a session in 1 sentence. After, write 1 concrete observation. If you ran a remote viewing game with sealed photos, score blind, or have a friend do it, and accept misses with the same calm you give hits. The skill we're after is precision in noticing, not theatrics in reporting. Finally, steal 1 gateway cue and make it boringly practical. Mind awake, body asleep becomes eyes soft, jaw loose, long exhale. Say it before a hard task. Pair it with a single, slow breath. That's your portable state switch. Not a portal, just a handle. When it works, you'll feel it. When it doesn't, you'll adjust. Either way, you're editing the controlled hallucination with care. Cognitive access over cosmic promises. Return to the peak moment. Reframe the climax. Back in the declassified room, the subject says, "I'm leaving my body." Heart rate climbs, palms sweat. The tape whispers about expansion. What was actually happening? Their brain was doing what ours all do under a steady rhythm. Low arousal and permissive scripts. Downweighting exteroceptive error and upweighting priors. Alpha and theta rose because attention relaxed inward. The vestibular system, lightly unanchored, let micromotions swell into a sense of lift. At the TPJ, the model chose the story that fit the pattern. I'm a little above. EEG showed sync, but not a magic click. Think modest entrainment in brainstem timing circuits, especially timing hubs like the inferior colliculus, and a cortex shifting into a quieter sampling mode. Hemispheres weren't locking into a laser. They were coordinating the way they always do when you stop chasing the room and start listening inside. That coordination feels smooth because the noise drops. Smooth often reads as profound. The ritual made that smoothness heavy. A respected institute, a classified interest, a voice promising safety. Those elements push expectation and patience up. In that context, a tiny sway earns meaning. A mental image, sparked by a draft in the room and a remembered hallway, becomes a scene. The instruction to describe, not explain, fights the urge to label it cosmic, but the room leans. That's human. Authority changes priors. None of that makes the moment cheap. It makes it usable. In that state, fear drops and focus sharpens. For a trainee headed back to a cockpit, an operating room, or a noisy briefing, that's gold. The OBE isn't the point. The handle is. You learn you can move the dials, breath to settle, rhythm to stabilize, imagery to steer, language to anchor. You left the room with a skill, not a souvenir. So when we replay that peak, it's not a Portal movie. It's a human nervous system doing what it's built to do: predict, update, and keep coherence inside a frame that made coherence easier to reach. The all you hear in the transcript is real. It just belongs to the fact that your world is editable from the inside. Here's the open loop we'll leave you with. If a room and a tape can tilt a self, what happens when teams train cognitive access together? Shared language, shared rhythm, shared measures, without reaching for cosmic access at all. Subscribe to watch us test that on camera. Resolution and meaning. Your world is stitched from guesses, yours, then ours together, and Gateway's real legacy is showing those stitches can be moved. This is cognitive access, not cosmic access. Skills over spectacle. If you want more stories at the edge of mind and measurement, subscribe and watch the next episode where we try a brand new body ownership hack on camera. Drop safe, testable experiments, clear cues, measurable outcomes in the comments. We'll pre-register the best, run them live, and show every result, weird included.